The fools in life want things fast and easy. Money, success, attention. Robert Greene. My friends, the fools in life think they can make money, be successful, and get lots of attention easy. We know that as far as tracking this market goes, learning how to do this 10 to 15 minutes a day, that's all we ask. That's not a big ask, but for so many people, I'm afraid it is. If you will just devote yourself for as much time as it takes, 10 to 15 minutes a day, to following these markets, you will figure this out. The training we have here for you is free. We appreciate the folks that support us through Patreon, the folks who buy our books. Thank you so much for all that. If you're just starting off, just follow the charts with us every day. You can print out for free your trade worksheet, daily market worksheet, and once a week your weekly market worksheet. We teach you how to fill those out. We have daily training. Sign up for free at chartingwealth.com. You'll have all that information in your show notes. And the training today for the subscribers is fundamental analysis is fine, but don't be a dumb buyer. And again, I'm all for fundamental analysis, but technical analysis helps you to buy at the right price. Let's jump into these charts. We see the market fairly lackadaisical today. Stocks are down a wee bit, literally 0.07% on the S&P, 0.02%, 0.2%. Very little movement today. 20-year bonds up a little, gold up just a smidgen. Again, the big thing going up today is, of course, Bitcoin. Bitcoin up 7%, just a little over 7% for the day. Price percent oscillator, which had been heading sideways, down a little bit. Derivative oscillator is still negative on that weekly chart, but it's now starting to pull away from the red signal line. That's good to see. What about this 2-day chart? We've been waiting for that, haven't we? And, of course, as we watch this, I told you to watch it, to pay close attention to it. We had it moving up from Friday. And of course, as we continue to follow it, how did it close? Well, the price percent oscillator closed just a little bit above the red signal line. How many of you were prepared and wanted to follow this 2-day recross going up? Well, it has happened, and we shall see. Hopefully you are practice trading that. Remember, we're not a stock calling service, we're an education firm. If you want to learn how to chart Bitcoin, you've got to practice trade Bitcoin. You've got to go back in time, do the work to show yourself approved. Again, look at your weekly vertical crossovers, see how accurate they are. Look at the 2-day recrosses. See how the half-day chart responds and how accurate it is over time. I mean, again, the half-day chart is not so bad. Again, we focus primarily on the bigger charts. Why? Because those kinds of movements like we saw with this latest crossover going up, when you saw it cross over back on the 23rd of October, it was around the $12,000 mark. And of course, how high has it gone so far? Well, it's gone as high as $46,868. Now, that being said, we had what? Of course, we had some movements where we had pullbacks that would have allowed you to hop out and hop back in if you were practice trading. That's why we use that 2-day chart. Again, it's our intermediate chart. It helps us a great deal. So again, we look at the half-day chart. What is it doing? Again, Bitcoin's not really anything to track so much on the half-day chart. Why? Those of you who see the signals on how it registers on the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index, it's still finding its way. So we'll continue to watch, see how these charts move and how accurate you can track them. You've got to do the paper trading. And of course, at some point, you can do the fractional shares. I'm going to put that fractional trading again at the end of today's video. If you haven't taken it yet, you really need it. You need to understand the next step after you get good at your paper trading. And that is putting just a little bit of skin in the game, again, to practice and see how good you can be and keep up with it. It's hard to cheat when you have a little bit of money, 50 bucks, 100 bucks on that trade. Then you can track and see just how good you are. So I recommend that. Fractional trading. Take that video at the end of today's video. So that's where we are on Bitcoin. Now let's get into our big four. S&P 500, what do we see there? Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Green up candle forming for the week. Again, it's slowly pulling away. We look at the 2-day. What do we see? Well, a nice green up candle. And again, we see what happened. We had finally the 2-day recross going up. It took a heck of a long time. It was a weird one. Typically, almost always, the 2-day precedes the weekly vertical crossover. This time it didn't. Derivative oscillators still negative, but that price percent oscillator is heading up. We look at the half-day chart and we can again see where after this long up movement with beautiful little ride right up, at the end of the day, we fell through that. So we'll watch and see. Price percent oscillator still ahead of the red signal line. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. That's where we are on the S&P, the last stock index, the second one that we'll look at. Barely up, barely down, 0.02%. But of course, for the week, our Heikin-Ashi candlestick, which shows average pace of price movement, is a nice green up candle. We see the derivative oscillator about flat, maybe losing a little bit of energy. Price percent oscillator pulling away ever so slightly from the red signal line. 2-day chart. We see the price percent oscillator moving away, derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum, 2-day candle moving up. What do we see on the half day? Again, little penetration there of what had been a really beautiful 4 or half day trend line. So we'll continue to watch, see how this develops. But that's good to see. Now, what do we see on 20-year bonds? Up for the day, 0.07%. Movement, of course, is still down. Price percent oscillator heading down, losing a little bit of that angle. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum. And again, we see price movement trying to move down. Have we reached a lower low yet? The low last week, 48.02. The low this week, 48.04. So right at it. But again, slowing. So we'll watch that. Look at the 2-day chart. We have now this solid green candle means a slowdown in the down movement. Well, again, don't know how long this is going to last. If this is just a slowdown, if we're going to see stocks starting to slow down, bonds starting to move up, don't know yet. We see the price percent oscillator flattening some, but still heading down. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Half-day chart. Again, we can see where that bottom was and where things picked up in the morning and then losing some of that luster in the afternoon after we saw the morning push through that half-day trend line. Derivative oscillator went positive at the end of the day. Price percent oscillator, like we said, still negative, less than flat. That's where we are on bonds. Lastly, we go to gold. Gold was our most up chart for the day, of course, next to Bitcoin, 0.33%. We look at that weekly chart and we see a solid green candle. That is a slowdown in the down movement. You can see how far gold peaked down. Would that be peaking down? Whatever. How far gold slammed down. We'll use that. Last week, we haven't hit anywhere near that. Price is right there, just below the weekly trend line. Not much of a trend line, I will admit. We see the price percent oscillator still moving down ever so slightly. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. What do we see on the 2-day chart? Green up candle sitting right there on the 2-day trend line. Price percent oscillator about flat. Derivative oscillator negative, losing downward momentum. And then we look at that half-day chart. And of course, it crossed over in the afternoon on Monday, up in the morning, pulling back a little in the afternoon. So again, We'll keep watching, seeing how gold sorts itself out. I'm so ready for gold to just fly up. Maybe it will. But again, we're going to let these charts lead us. I hope you're doing your practice trades. I hope you're doing the work. That's how you show yourself approved, my friends. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Please, 10 to 15 minutes a day. Fill out that daily market worksheet when you're listening. I promise you, it will incredibly speed up your learning. Putting pen to paper, thinking about it as you write it down, having it written down in front of you, it's magic. If you'll just listen and do that for 2 weeks, just try it for 2 weeks. See how much it helps you grasp and understand what we're talking about. And it's only 10 to 15 minutes. You can do it each and every day. Before you know it, you will be successfully practice trading and getting this stuff down. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.